Do you know what time it is? It's prime time. The official commissioner podcast of the Sim Madden League. Buckle up because it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be fire. Now, without further ado, here is SML legend Prime Time 000.
Hello and welcome back to the SML podcast. I'm Prime Time, and with me is SML Nostradamus. He's back at it again. What's up, Woods?
What's going on? It's been a long time, but I can't think of a better way to end the cycle with the very much 85% accurate predictions of the SML Nostradamus.
Hey, Nostradamus. Hey, even the real Nostradamus didn't hit on everything. He probably wrote like a million theories, and we only remember the ones he hit on anyway, so who cares?
Exactly.
Hey, SML season kind of ending, obviously. We're in week 17 as we record this. Cycle ending as well, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But hey, before we really talk about everybody else, I watched your last game. It looks like your reign as the Cleveland Browns owner has come to a tragic end short of the playoffs.
Yeah, it was bittersweet. Last night it was more bitter than sweet. I was able to sleep on it and realize that, hey, I mean, this last season, I guess it just wasn't for me for various reasons. You and I had a talk, some things went on, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
And I blew it. I mean, I as bad as I played, I had one game to at least do my part of it. I didn't even do that. So I mean, if Two-Step played a brilliant game. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I was maddened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to seeing that version of Joe Burrow. Even if Two-Step would make the right read, Joe would kind of be off, and that would help. But I mean, yesterday was wow.
Yeah, I watched most of that game, and I'm not sure if he threw an incompletion, and if he did, it was late in the game.
Yeah, if he did, it was late. At one point, he was 13 for 13.
That's nuts. We're not used to that from Two-Step, who very often leads the league in interceptions with Joe Burrow, but and arguably the clutchest game of Two-Step's career as of late. Huge moment for Two-Step. Now he looks like Two-Step's going to make the playoffs. By the way, it looks like
Future's up 10. Well, he was up 10 when I checked in on it on the Ravens. So.
Yeah.
That went in the half. It should have been a third now. I don't know what the score is.
Yeah. They're entering the fourth, and Future's up big. So Two-Step's going to make the playoffs.
Well, that I won't be so sad about it then. That he deserves it, but he's going to run into a buzzsaw, so I don't envy him. I don't envy him on that one.
So yeah, he'll be playing the Colts now. Another thing to note: Death Wish slipped into the 6th seed. So now it's either going to be Matt or Paulie, and at either the 3 seed or the 7 seed. So AFC playoff picture getting a little interesting now. Some guys, I don't know what's going on with this seeding stuff, but do you just want to go ahead and make our predictions now, or do you have something else to talk about first?
No, I think an update on that. Grams is up on Paulie in the 4th. That game, I don't know if it's wrapping up, but I'm not sure who had the lead in that division, but I think if Paulie loses and Matt's the division winner, so that would probably lock Paulie into the 7th seed.
Yeah, so this is how it's going to shake out. Assuming Matt beats Null Overlord, unless if he tanks, it's going to be Matt versus Death Wish, and then it's going to be Paulie versus Dan, and myself versus the Bengals in the wild card round. What do you think of that round 1 matchup? I guess let's start with the AFC. We'll work our way through, and then we can talk to NFC.
I hate to say it. Unfortunately, it looks like I may be the only AFC North team to get a playoff win this cycle. I've got you over Two-Step pretty. Well, I don't know what Two-Step you're going to get, but I'll make it easy and say you at least beat them by 17. Let's say 31-14 Colts.
Nice.
Matt and DW, I don't know because both of them can pretty much run the ball, and sometimes when someone runs the ball equally with Matt, he'll go to that. Well, I'll just outthrow you, and sometimes that can be his Achilles heel. But
Mm-hmm.
I will say with the way Matt's playing, I'll take Matt in a close one, 27-24.
Okay. Paulie and Dan.
Dan and Paulie, I think Dan was probably waiting for this game for a while. He gets to take one of your hype men out on
Mm-hmm.
possibly on the way to probably facing you again. So I'll take Dan in that one, 28-21.
Now that one will be interesting. That's kind of my circle game for the AFC wildcard round because Dan has owned Paulie pretty much all cycle. I don't think Paulie's beat Dan, but most of the games have been close. Most of the games have been close, and it would be interesting if the cycle ended and Paulie was able to get that monkey off his back. I don't know if he's going to be able to, but if you're Dan, how often can you beat the same guy over and over and over again and not slip up once?
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
I think as quiet as it's kept, I think Dan's probably playing with a bit of a chip right now.
mhm.
I think he's kind of out to prove that hey, his one Super Bowl win wasn't a fluke. He could have two, maybe three, and I think he's out for blood. Granted, barring anything weird happens, and not saying anything weird as if Paulie beats him, any weird injury or anything like that, I think he beats Paulie.
Yeah.
28-21.
Okay. And so if that plays out like you think it will, go on.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I will say this: Dan has been weak against the run and against certain people, and Paulie does. He sneakily runs the ball very well.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a hint. That could help Paulie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll change that to 28-24.
Oh, okay. So you still got Dan, and that would put me against Bomber, and then Matt against Dan.
This is where I'm having the issue in one game, but maybe two because Matt beat Dan earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Where you weren't Bombers one loss, Matt was.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with Dan and Matt. If Dan's seen enough of Matt, then I think Dan's usually good at kind of baiting you to get you out of your game plan at times.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll do that to Matt to a degree, but I still got that one as a close one as well. I'm going to take Dan in that one, 30-28.
Okay.
Dan gets the last one at field goal to win it.
Matt has a play style that matches up well against Dan, kind of that running the rock. If he cannot turn it over, he'll be in that game. But I agree with you. I think Dan's going to win that game.
Yeah. This next game is the one that I've been going back and forth about all day. And as much as it pains me to say it, because I love you, I'm going to pick Bomber in this one.
Shaking my head. I'm over here shaking my head.
But you guys have had a lot of classics. I mean, the last game I think was maybe a blowout.
Yes.
I think this one is an overtime thriller.
Mm-hmm.
33-30, Bomber wins in overtime with a field goal.
So the thing about Bomber is he's had my number this season and most of the cycle as well. Obviously, to start the cycle, he really had my number. Towards the middle, it kind of evened up, and then this season it hasn't been close. Again, the whole I would prefer for this game to be in the AFC Championship game because what better way to end our rivalry than an AFC Championship game, one last game, just to settle it all. Now that would be cool.
That would be the storybook.
I know Bomber's been putting up a lot of points lately and wowing a lot of people. He hasn't played anybody with a winning record in 6 weeks. Uh, now,
Wow, yeah,
now,
that
now,
can hurt.
now he's going to have a bye week, and then he's going to come in and play somebody else when he already hasn't. I mean, lately his playoff record hasn't been that great. Uh, I don't know. If I play Bomber, there's two things that's going to happen. I'm going to be coming in motivated and really hungry to win that game, or Bomber's going to be cool and confident. And I'm curious what his mindset would be going into that game if he's like, oh man, Prime's really gonna want this one, or if it's I got this in the bag. There's two ways you can look at that, and I'm.
As a person, I think we played the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
twice this cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Lost to Dan, I lost to Bomber, I lost to you, I lost to QB.
Yeah.
Your team, well, I won't put it on just your team. I will say this: you are different in the playoffs. I've seen the term, hey, he's coasting, he's this, he's that, but I've seen it to where it's like, all right, this team, I can hit them in certain spots, and playoff time is, whoa, this team's faster than I thought it was. And then that tends to, for a player like me, that tends to throw me off because I'm used to my team having, being a superior team as far as speed goes, but when I have a hard time adjusting to when another team has speed,
Mm-hmm.
linebacker position. They got guys that can get in from the
Mm-hmm.
front four, even in the secondary. A corner or safety that can break on the ball real quick, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would probably match up well with Bomber. I just think Bomber's kind of at peace with himself. Now, if you can get Bomber frustrated early,
Mm-hmm.
then I believe he's truly in trouble. But I think he's calm enough and he's more at peace with himself with his offensive defense to where even if he were to get down early, I think he'd kind of settle in and try to battle his way back and not let it get to him.
Yeah, it'll be a fun game. I really wanted to match up against Dan. I have quite a bit to say about Dan, but I probably won't do it on this show. So we'll see how that plays out. But it would be the battle of the Bushwhackers. You're saying in the AFC Championship game. Who's representing the AFC?
He's got Bomber winning that one. And another close one. Kind of, I'll take Bomber by 10. Shockingly, 31-21.
Okay, 31-21. Okay, so over in the NFC, maybe a little less storylines, a little less drama, rivalry, but still you got some great players. RD right now, as we're recording this, I think he's going to play for 16-0 soon. So he's got number one locked up. We're just going to assume the Vikings have two locked up, and from there it's just a cluster. Honestly, it's just a cluster. So I'm not sure if we can play this game of matchups, but can you kind of just tell me who, just through the smoke and the fog, who's going to be in the NFC Championship game? What do you think the matchups are going to be?
I don't. I mean, nothing against anybody else, but it may not be close. I mean, the QP or DMUs, I think they can possibly trip up Faz just only because Faz has lost to. I think he lost to DMUs in the playoffs before. I think QP has the offense to kind of hang with him if it were to come down to, hey, whoever has the ball last
Mm-hmm.
would win. But I've got Faz and RD.
Yeah, you're 100% right. They're the two best players in the NFC. They have been all cycle long. They both, I think, in a way, are also two of the most inconsistent players in the NFC. They seem to not live up to their potential or something. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I thought for a minute there RD was going to capture the SML. He had it in the palm of his hands and he kind of dropped off a cliff. And the same for Faz a little bit. We thought that Faz at the beginning of the cycle was going to grab the SML by the horns. Then he finally got his first Zimbardi, and then he got upset in the playoffs. So, yeah, that would be the ideal NFC Championship game, and I think that RD actually matches up well against Faz.
Well, let me ask you this. before we move on to it, when you win a title for the first time, and you're good, because I won't even dare to say, hey, I'm on you guys' level at all. But when you win a title the first time, I mean, were you kind of happy you did it, or were you hungry to get another one? Because in my opinion, I think once Faz and RD got one, it was almost like that Steve Young syndrome. Hey, I got the monkey off of my back.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of coast and then get there and almost do it again, or maybe they get bored. Just with you beat somebody enough, or you beat the competition enough, and you keep hearing, well, nobody's gonna beat those guys. You kind of become complacent. My question is, has that ever happened with you in your early run, if you can remember?
Yeah. So yeah, I've gotten complacent a time or two, and it's bit me. It's bit me. Now, in the middle of the cycle, I kind of got frustrated, and I started playing with a little more fire in my belly. And I remember when I beat RD in the Super Bowl, the first thing I thought was like it was a relief, but also like, okay, I want to get back to back. I want to get 2 of 3. I want to go for 3 straight. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, it's everybody's different. Everybody's a little bit different. I think that Faz could be the type that got a little complacent, and especially Faz, just because he's shown it a little bit. He's shown it a little bit that maybe Madden's not everything to him. Maybe an Andrew Luck type. Maybe football is not everything, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
But
I don't know, but in my head, I think maybe they just got bored over there.
mhm.
And I mean, especially Faz, it's well, how many people have beaten him in that division? Maybe Mike once.
Yeah, it's not
Right?
good. It's not been pretty.
So I mean, you don't have that. You don't go into the next season. Well, I got to fight for the division. That's
Right,
never on Faz's mind.
right.
And I mean, as bad or as evenly compared to our division and their division, NYT, I go into it like, all right, well, I got to fight one person for the division. That's nothing against KJ and Two Step, but
Mhm,
that's just how it went along. Faz has never had to deal with that.
mhm.
RD, on the other hand, does because he's got Tiny, and I don't care what we say about Tiny. He's a solid player.
Yep.
You got Meats, who's also very good, and when Dump's on or when Dump's ready to talk trash or anything else, he's as good as anybody else.
Mhm.
So you always have to watch out for him as well. But I mean, I don't know. I just in my head, I think after they won, maybe they got a bit bored, or maybe because RD went back to back, didn't he?
He's back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe that loss to you kind of affected him a bit, but he's back now, and the possibility to go 16-0 or even 15-1. That's impressive, and I don't see him slowing down because me just having recently played him, he will not go away from Akers. I don't care what you do,
Mhm.
what you stack in the box, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, Akers will find a way to get that ball. He's very good at misdirection plays.
Mhm.
He'll make sure he's taking Akers. If your attention's going to the left side of the field, he'll make sure Akers is in some way, shape, or form going away from that action so he can isolate him,
Mhm.
and that can hurt a lot of teams if you're not prepared for it. So I don't know. I just see them as probably getting bored or complacent, and now here we'll see which one of them can take that step to either try to get their second title and get to their 3rd Super Bowl, because each one of them have been the 2 so far.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. So I'm assuming you're picking RD then.
I I believe I am. Yes, I am picking RD, and I've got Palmer against RD. Boy,
Mhm.
this is tough, but I don't. Palmer's mastered Hendricks to a way that he almost reminds me of Meats with Golden,
Mm-hmm.
and that's saying a lot. So I mean, I'll pick Balmer in what would, well, I wouldn't even call it upset. I just pick Balmer 27-20. He wins his first in Barty, and we'll see where he goes next season.
Yeah, no, if
Next
they
cycle.
if they play in that, I think Bomber comes prepared, and I think he wins that game. I think Bomber's toughest challenge is going to be getting through the AFC. He's proven he's kind of had some trouble getting through the AFC. He's just got to prove it. You know, he's just got
He does.
he's just got to prove it. And I mean, you can't look at Bomber as a player and say, okay, he's an average player. I mean, he's going 14-2, 15-1 every season. His team is the best team out of all the teams. He's got the best team in the game. He's drafted well. He's made good moves. You don't hold that against the guy. I mean, I'm not saying
You don't.
I mean that he's a great team builder, but if you don't win with that team and how he prepares for a game, then it's it's a little splotch on the resume. So
Yeah, the only knock I'd say I'd have on Bomber is, and I'm like this too, if there are times where emotions can get the best of you,
mhm.
and I mean it hurts. I mean sometimes it can go in your favor, and sometimes it hurts. If he can bottle it up or lock it away or make it have these emotions go in favor of him and just be calm, then I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. And I've seen him do a lot of that lately.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, like you said, he hasn't played a team with a winning record in 6 weeks, so that could also be contributed to it.
Yes.
So we'll see. I mean, I've seen him on both sides of the spectrum, but I've seen more of the calm Bomber that looks like he's headed towards a common goal with him and his team to finally grab that Sim Barty, because to me it's been a long time coming. I would like to see it, and hopefully it happens.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. Maybe maybe this is finally his time, and that'd be a way to finish out the cycle after so many close but not quite there seasons there for Jacksonville. So you got Bomber. Nostradamus has spoken. The Jacksonville Jaguars will win our final season Super Bowl of this cycle. Woods, do you have any? Do you want to switch gears to a different segment, or what's on your mind?
I've been getting a lot of DMs lately. A lot of my sources. You know, people may think I am a nice guy. I don't have my ears to the ground. I don't have a pulse in the league, but I got some sources that are they're giving me some pretty disturbing news. I consider you and I close. You and I are friends, and some pretty condemning evidence that you may be possibly one of the founding members of the clique. I mean, is there any truth to that?
It's if technically, where would the clique be right now if it wasn't for the SML? You know, would they still be around? You know, so.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to get technical, if there weren't Prime, then there'd be no more click.
Yeah, I get a lot of DMs like, why is Prime always talking about the click? I mean, you know, these guys, they're pretty, you know, they're staying in their lane at times. They look out for each other, and I say, you know what, that's a good question. And you know, I've got my sources that tell me, hey, I've seen him and this clique member collude to do that, you know, but a bunch of collusion, but I think the real evidence will be coming out soon in team draft as well.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to confirm it, but I'm not going to deny it. All right, here's my question for you now. Are you going to take Jacksonville next year?
I can only get better by playing the best.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, I could be wrong, I'm an average enough passer to where if I have help, I can be more successful.
That's cryptic.
Star / extract the quarterback. I think that would help me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, I'm not that guy that had the Patriots two cycles ago where I could just draft the quarterback and say, hey, let's rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Baker had superstar. He was superstar last year. He became 32 in the last season. I was like, I'm done with the Baker experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So got rid of him. He didn't have anything this year. I didn't re-sign him. But if I can somehow grab Trevor and hopefully your team's weakened by low overalls and probably no trade help, maybe I can sneak in a win or two in this first season. And I mean this in the fullest compliment any way I can give.
Mm-hmm.
Facing you twice a season, hopefully 3 times, will only make me better.
Okay. So you're taking Jacksonville.
Unless somebody takes Jacksonville, I think I picked fourth or fifth.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I'm headed to Jacksonville,
Wow.
and if Jacksonville's gone, like I said in the chat earlier today, I'm probably gonna go back to where it started. Only a few guys probably know where I started at, and that you can pretty much guarantee that. And
Wow.
when I say this, people will probably know. I'll probably be hitting up somebody else for the quarterback, but
Wow.
I'll be heading there.
Wow. So there you go. That's Woods possibly locking his ticket into the AFC South to play maybe prime time if I take the Colts. We'll see what happens with that. Woods, we're nearing 30 minutes. Do you have anything else on your mind that's burning?
Oh, hey, guys. Oof, I'm tired. Just to give a shout out to everybody in the league. Great job, guys. Great job to Stern for being an interim owner that came in and pretty active in chat. Got his first win against Field. Thanks to everybody for all the content, all the laughs, all the emotions. Just good camaraderie all around. You know, we've had days where chat can get kind of hectic, but I mean we've gotten past it, and we still got a great group of 32 guys. And next cycle, Madden 22, let's keep that going and keep the positivity going forward. And we'll be losing a guy that I hold near and dear to me because I like KJ a lot. He's a good guy. He's done a hell of a lot for the league as far as getting us prepared for the PS5. And I'll always appreciate that. He's always good. Always had good conversation in DMs, even in chat. So if he does retire, I'm gonna miss him. And hats off to him and much respect.
Yeah. No, that's the thing about KJ. I guess real quick. I hope he changes his mind. It's not concrete yet. You know, I'm gonna try and meet with him after the season, but it does seem very real. Hopefully, he has a change in heart. But yeah, you mentioned this cycle. I think it's been another net positive in terms of ownership, in terms of where the league's trajectory is, which. Every year it seems like once we hit the off season and get to the team selection draft, it's like, wow, like, you know, we really got better this year. And it felt like it again this year, you know, which is good. And we need to continue that trajectory, even though it seems like it'll get harder and harder. I think Madden 22 might just be, maybe we won't make a big of a jump in terms of content. I think we're going to see a lot more refinement of processes and things we do to just make everything go a little bit smoother.
Yeah, I think it will. I for me myself, I didn't play the PS5 version of Madden that much, so I'm not sure if the speed of the game, which I've been hearing a lot about, will kind of be a learning curve for the majority of the guys, or even a few of them. So we'll see how that plays out as well.
Yeah, it'll be a lot to look forward to, and in the most immediate future, the finale of the PS4 SML Madden cycle. SML was founded on PS4, and now our PS4 journey has run its course, it appears, in the SML. Guys, I'm Prime. He's Woods, a.k.a. Nostradamus. Until next time, we're signing out. We'll see if Jacksonville can do it. Who knows? That's what Woods thinks. We'll see what I think about that. And I'll let my play do the talking.
There you go.